Hey guys, just wanted to take a few moments to talk about a couple things before we dive into today's episode and the series as a whole. When I first started this podcast series with the class of 2010 from Western Alamance, I never imagined it had the potential to become something meaningful. While recording and wrapping up the conversations, we did lose two members of our Western Alamance class, Jonathan Swarsigan and Jenny Strickland. I did have the pleasure of having Jenny on the podcast before her passing, and I'm grateful her story has the potential to live on in this space. Her episode will be released at a more appropriate time at a later date. This project is more than looking back. It's about recognizing how fleeting time can be, appreciating the people who've shaped our lives, and not taking a single moment for granted. So I implore you, if there's someone you've been meaning to call, catch up with, don't wait. Reach out, say the thing. You never know when it might be your last chance. So this one's for Jenny, Jonathan, and everyone else. Thanks. Welcome to the Cooler Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Smiley. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. If you're not so new, welcome back. As always, Cooler Conversations is the audio culmination of cool stories and the coolest people. Today is a continuation of the cool stories and cool people. I'm in the midst of the series where I interview the WAHS, Western Alamance High School, senior superlatives of class 2010. Today's guest he was voted, I had to double check it, most involved. Today I am joined by Rajiv Dinakaran. Rajiv, how are you doing?
How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well. Thank you again for joining the pod. It's been a minute.
You look the same, though. You look the exact same as from the last time I saw you.
I will gladly take. I think it's the lighting. Definitely. This is probably TMI, but the weight scale has not been the same since high school.
Yeah, likewise. But I was actually thinking about that yesterday, and I've been working out, but I'm like 50 pounds heavier, legitimately 50 pounds heavier than I was when I graduated high school.
It's insane how that because I'll be full TMI. It's I think I graduated at like 150, just a stick, and I'm like borderline like 214. That's what my latest one was, and so it's just.
You put on some like mass though. You like that, like you because I remember following you on social media. Didn't you get into like working out and you were big into like fitness and all that? So I'm sure a lot of
I balanced it with like CrossFit, and I still swim, but that I'm good. I look good in a t-shirt. You look great too. So it's like we still look great for 33. We're just not what we were at 18.
No. Sadly, if only.
If only. Kind of going back, I'm going to kind of take us back in time. 2010 senior, 2009-ish. You're playing through school. What was your life? What were you doing? What was your sports? What was your go? For most involved, what were you involved
in? Great question. I definitely have to go to the memory bank for that. I was very involved with tennis, played tennis, and that was kind of like my thing. I was a tennis guy, if you remember. Mm-hmm. And then I was in the history club with Mr. Byers. I was class president our senior year. Mm-hmm. That was pretty cool. I fondly remember speaking in our high school graduation. Do you remember that, by the way?
I don't remember. Funny enough, before this whole series I was doing, I tried to look up. We have barely any accounts of anything on YouTube, but I remember Kaylee's speech, which is still on YouTube. Her dad posted that thing 15 years ago. It's the full oh my God, box of chocolates speech. We had I completely forgot that our power all went out that morning. She went on the whole thing. But other than that, I don't remember a lot of things.
Yeah. Well, I don't either. So I was hoping you did, so you could tell me if I bombed or did a halfway respectable job. But it must have been a very neutral speech. Didn't.
I think the only thing I can think of now, because you jogged my brain, I remember you coming up in conversation a couple of years ago. Since you're the class president, you're responsible for the reunion.
I am. I am. I am. I'm not
So,
leading that charge well. I need to
okay.
need to reassess and regroup. But did you go to the last one? I
I don't
guess.
think we've had one. I'll be honest. I put something on Facebook because I was like, so my fiance, she went to Eastern Guilford and we were just clowning around. I think it was 5 years ago, and I posted something. I was like, all right, we're all meeting at Red Oak. It's 10-year reunion. And it's funny enough, I had like 2 or 3 posts. It was like, I'm good. No, I don't want to get
Oh, that's sad, man. I would have come. I live in Atlanta now, so I would have been a bit
Yeah.
of a drive. But
What
I was down
what
for
took you to Atlanta?
work. I'm a Bojangles franchisee.
Oh my Lord.
And so I've got locations here in Georgia. My dad was a franchisee in North Carolina, and so I kind of grew
Okay.
up working with him. And then we kind of expanded out to Georgia, and I've been here ever since.
Okay. So you're just most involved in Georgia now. That's
Yes, most involved in Bojangles, specifically Georgia. I'm very involved with Bojangles now. I guess my high school experience really kind of helped me propel me to my future career from high school involvement to Bojangles involvement.
Okay. It's kind of offbeat. We'll get back into like the 2010. What's the best thing on the menu, in your opinion?
Of Bojangles or
Bojangles.
Bojangles? Oh, chicken supremes, hands down.
Chicken spring. Okay. Yeah, the number one. It would be the. So going back into the high school realm, are you still playing tennis? Do you still play tennis this day, or are you taking like the pickleball route?
I'm in pickleball. I'm a huge pickleball guy. I'm like a fiend. I'm
How
playing
often?
2 or 3
How
times a
often do you
week.
play?
Yeah, two or
Okay.
three times a week. It's like much easier tennis. I would have been a much better tennis player if the court was half the size. I was always told that legitimately.
That's
And
funny.
so I think pickleball kind of gets me that.
Are the rules the same? It's the same scoring, I'm assuming.
No, it's like ping pong scoring, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, okay.
Rules are very similar, but there's no like games, and you play like, you know what a tiebreak is in tennis? You get to 6-all, and you play a tiebreak to 7. That's
My
just
my understanding of tennis is Mario Tennis. That was
yeah,
the most I.
okay. Great game, by the way. Great plug, Nintendo. If you're watching
Yeah.
this, could use a promo on Mario Tennis 2026 or whenever that comes out.
If only they just announced that Nintendo Direct, we're getting a new Mario Kart, so it
Ooh,
might be.
ooh, nice. Um,
So yeah, I would say so. Keep going. Talking about like tennis. Are you still involved in any other things from like hobby wise?
married, so my wife and I like going out to restaurants. She's pretty active. She has a good social life. Um, really just pickleball, working out. Trying not to look old.
Yeah.
Taking care of myself. Yeah, just pretty routine stuff. I think as you get in your 30s, I'm sure you're engaged now, right?
Hmm.
And
That's
as
true.
you get married, I'm sure as you know now, because you've been with your fiance for several years, correct?
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
Twee and I've been together 8 years. She's gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna get in trouble. It's 8 going on 9 years in June.
Awesome.
Just
Congratulations.
got engaged. Thank you. Got engaged last year. Um, but it's funny enough, it's on our month to do is to play pickleball. I had it on the month. The reason I bring it up is I had it on the month to do for last April. And we just never got to it. She bought like the full set. She went full Amazon on it. And I was like, all right, well, there's a tennis court over there. And we
Yeah.
just never, I'm going to take this as like, this is our sign. We got to do it this weekend.
It is addicting. The one thing about pickleball though, it's so easy. It's so much easier than tennis, and it's a very easy sport in general. So anyone
Mhm.
can get out there. As long as you've got basic coordination, if you can catch and throw a ball, and you can kind of like tap it back and forth.
So then what are your thoughts then when they say it's like the most injury prone right now? They're saying chiropractors are loving tennis or loving pickleball.
I can see that just because you're playing on a cement surface, right? So anytime
Mhm.
you put, non-professional athletes on concrete and have them jump around for 2 hours on a consistent basis, right? Kind of shuffling side to side and kind of crabbing around, doing the pickleball crab shuffle.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just, basic wear and tear.
I wonder if they've introduced it to high school. I wonder if they're going to have like a club sport or something
I
for it.
think
Because
it's getting big in colleges. The college pickleball scene is blowing up, and it's like
okay,
any sport. It's just like slowly getting bigger, right? So the one
hmm
nice thing about playing right now is if you get to like a pretty high level, you're relatively close to the top just because of sheer numbers, right? There's
yeah,
I don't know this, but of the of the people who play tennis, maybe it's a fraction compared to how many people play pickleball, right? So it's just far less people playing. It's not quite as global as tennis, soccer, swimming.
hmm yeah. It's I hope hopefully it grows. I just imagine
It is growing very rapidly.
okay, because I'm imagining the hype that went into like cornhole like 4 years ago, and
Yeah.
it was on TV, and everyone wanted to be a cornholer, and then that died out.
Did you get into that?
Yeah, I'm a big cornhole. I'm a big cornhole. That'll be the clip. The I played a couple tournaments. I've gotten pretty high consistently, but
Wow.
it's not a whole lot to gloat about. It's like, hey, there's a cornhole guy, and
So,
it's hard.
so
Go
what
ahead.
did you get? Like, regionally ranked, nationally ranked in cornhole?
Oh, nothing like that. It's like we go to the breweries and then we'll do like the tournaments. We got the last time I did, there was Sheets. Sheets had like a big tournament like a couple years ago. We got okay with that. I think we got like in the quarterfinals, and then we got second
Okay.
in Natty Greens. We got first in the Toasty Kettleless tournament.
Okay, that's impressive. I'll take that.
Yeah. So
For
just like
2010,
every
big things out here, doing big
yeah.
things in the cornhole world.
Just a couple more pitches, and then we'll get like some sponsorship money from the baked beans.
Yep. I could just see, like, next time I go to visit my parents, I'm gonna go to that Food Lion and get a can of like Bush's baked beans, and you just be there, just
Yeah,
back and forth.
that's
Yeah,
me.
yeah, it's you. Full
What
post.
going back into like 2010, what were your obsessions? Like what were you listening to? What movies were you into? What was your realm of like
Ooh,
being a teen?
a lot of like punk rock and rock and roll. I'm trying to think of some of the bands. Cute is what we aim for. I don't know if you got into
Mm-hmm.
that. A lot of Lost Prophets, kind of like
Yeah.
that borderline screamy, kind of high pitch, guitar thing they got going on.
Yeah.
Good running music. Yeah, TV was big into like The Office. I think as everyone was.
Yep.
Parks. I miss those days. Like on Thursday night, whatever it was, just watching The Office and House and whatever, and going to school the next day and talking about it. That's a culture that our kids probably won't have, right? Because the
No.
series now comes out on Netflix, right? So you just watch the whole thing in a day and you just talk
Yeah.
about it, and it's like instantly over.
Yeah, I think the closest thing we have is HBO because like right now you have like White Lotus and
Yeah, yeah,
Righteous Gemstones, but I think they're so niche now. There's not like a mainstream thing that everyone can just be watching. I have to admit, I wasn't an Office person in high school. I remember just looking on the
really.
outside in, and it wasn't until I finally understood. Honestly, it wasn't until Netflix had them, and I was like, all right, let's just dive in because I've seen episodes but I saw it was on Netflix and I saw that in Parks and Rec and just fell in love, just binge. But I remember people telling me like, or just you would hear like that's what she said reference. And I was like, oh, that's an Office thing, but I don't know what the hell they're talking about.
um, who do you keep up with from high school?
So for me, my crowd is still, and I'm only going to name the seniors because there's a bunch that are like junior years and stuff. But it'll be Kelly Trawick, Matt Apple, Heath Talley.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think. Matt Foster.
yeah,
Catch up with them a few times, and then yeah. So I mean, I'm still in Elon. I still rock around here. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. Nice knowing that you still hang out with the people that you did like 15 years ago, and then you can kind of meld your path with them. They're all growing their families. You get to kind of see them in their parent mode, and then at the same time, you get to look at their kid and you're like, your dad was
yeah.
crazy.
I know. How are they all doing? Tell them all I said hello next time you see them.
We'll do it. It'll be a big old wave right here on the, the
Yeah,
pod.
yeah, exactly. What's
What
up, man?
about you?
Sadly, Greg Patterson, he and I were good buddies that played tennis together, and so we keep in touch, maybe like once a year, birthdays stuff.
Okay.
He's in Charlotte. I haven't seen him in several years. His parents are doing well, but not too much. I saw Sam Thomas's parents earlier this year. They're doing well. I said Sam was doing well too, but didn't really kind of after college. When I went to school in Atlanta, and then in 2017 I moved to Georgia. So kind of slowly, and I deleted my Facebook, which was like my main mode of connection. And I had to slowly, I'm like refinding people as Instagram friends, which I think is how we connected now, which is cool. But haven't really kept up with many people from high school.
So this would explain why the reunion has not happened.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
I'm away.
yeah. My bad, guys, for all the my former classmates listening to this. I need to pick it up on that. But we'll do it on a Bojangles too. I'll get Bojangles.
There we go.
Yeah.
Dude, we'll aim for 25.
Yep. When is our 25th? So it'll be 2035, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So then we'll be 43, and this will be a sadder podcast.
I know. What do you think it'll be like? Podcast culture will be like in 10 years.
Ooh, now we're getting into the stuff I like. So one of the things I wanted to touch on with like this series is we're kind of, at least have my perception, we're at this crossroads of technological growth where we still have untapped stories on the local level, like a grassroots level, while the main, giant ecosystem of information is coming on a global scale. It's going to be hard to, from my perspective, it'll be hard to do these, the more, AI progresses, because it's going to be, I'm going to end up shooting myself in the foot, but people may not be, wanting to put their voices out there. People may not be wanting to put their faces out there. But on the same end, these are the other thing too, with like our age bracket, is we're like the last remnants of people who existed online, but also prior to online. We had, the riding the bikes childhood. We had the cell phone, and not until high school. MySpace didn't exist until like 9th grade. So it was like, we have this like weird concept of like what our childhood was. And then that was 20 years ago, 25 years ago now. So it's interesting. Yeah. It'll be hard on that. That's my dystopian view. The positive version is that Meta pumps out some really cool, like, the augmented reality, where it's going to look like me and you are in the same room, and we're just going to be able to do like a video call. That's I'm probably leaning more to that side, but dystopia sells. So
exactly.
What about you? What do you think? What do you think the restaurant business, or even life in general, in the next, if we fast forward 15 years?
AI and tech is huge in our space right now. So we're installing a lot of kind of new ways to kind of streamline some of our processes. We have AI in all of our drive-throughs right now. I don't know if you've been to Bojangles recently, but you're likely to see it. We call it Bolinda. And
wow.
Just really whatever we can use to use technology to make the job easier, and really improve kind of the unit economics.
Is it a full language model, or is it like like a Siri almost?
Yeah, it's like a Siri. So you pull up to the speaker, it says, hi, welcome to Bojangles. Can I take your order today? And it upsells the heck out of you. It gets you like a million times. It's amazing. It's kind of funny to watch. I mean, it knows, and then it can also, it's like it self-learns, right? So it can kind of pick up if a customer's like, no, I just want my chicken biscuit and Bo Rounds and coffee. And so I'll let that person go. But if you're like egging it on, like, would you like to upsize that? Would you like to add a cookie? Any extra sauces today?
Wow. And it takes away all of the like embarrassment or the not even laziness, or there is laziness, but also like, because I've worked those jobs, you have to upsell, and it's like, I don't want to do that today. This person's being rude, but you got an AI who just doesn't care.
He doesn't care. Just cranking them in and out.
That's hilarious. Have you ever thought about like, your guys are installing that, and then we grew up in a time when like teachers would tell us, famously, we're not going to have, you guys aren't going to have like calculators in the real world. You have to show your
I
math. You got
know.
to do all this. And now we carry these, black mirrors everywhere.
I remember specifically sitting in Mr. Jones's class. Do you remember Mr. Jones?
Yes.
From high school. I forget what his geometry or whatever he taught, and arguing with him about that, because it was like at that time I had a cell phone in my pocket with a calculator on it. It was a old like rinky-dink Nokia that had that Snake game, and I was like, why do I need to know this? Like I can easily just do this on my phone. And he just refused to budge. Obviously,
it's nuts. I think the only thing, well, this would be, I'll pose the question to you first, and then I kind of had one I came up with a couple weeks ago. Is there any subject other than that instant, but is there any subject that you wish you would have paid more attention in and knowing the future, or is there one that you wish you would just like, all right, what was the point of this? Like it didn't age well.
Definitely. There was like a spreadsheets computer class we had to take. I think her name was Miss Ward. Do you remember her?
Yes.
It was in the same building as Coach Lochner. It was like the room behind with all the computers.
Yeah.
So I remember taking that class and doing poorly in it. I wasn't a very good student. So I do wish I took that class a little bit more seriously, because it was a lot of like spreadsheet stuff.
Yeah.
And that would have been helpful to know. But the other, 40 something odd classes I took in high school, probably not. Even though than the basic like reading and math. That's good to know.
I think the one thing I wish I would have taken more seriously, especially with the way AI is forming, and it's hard to like get like a deep fake, or you like see so many reports about whatever red team versus blue team thing. I wish I would have been better at like sourcing. Like, here's my sources. Check the sources. Check the all the things they literally nail down. And like, here your report. You have to put your sources. And you're like, no, it's just on Wikipedia. Who's going to lie on that? Yeah. I was thinking about that. I was like, there's a skill I wish I would have done better at, like identifying sources. But you could even make the argument with the spreadsheets, like you just get Chat GPT to do them for you.
Now, that's such a game changer, isn't it? Like, and what do you think life would have been like if that was there for us when we were in high school? Like, I would be putting my homework, like anything I could in Chat GPT would just go straight there.
I don't know how they test now, because like I know you can plug it in, I guess, and it'll tell you if it is chat, but if you're good at like identifying your own cadence and putting that in the paragraph, I don't know how.
Yeah. You can just like, if it's a paper, you just read what it writes and just paraphrase it in your own words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. Like, on one hand, and I was thinking about a meme I saw a couple weeks ago too. It was if you had to go back in time, and then you were like 300-400 years, and you were explaining like what was the future, like we have the cell phones and this, and then meanwhile, and they go, oh really, can you do it? And you're like, no, I have no idea how to do it. You'd just be just as lost.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Do you have any like favorite memories of Dub A, or anything that like sticks out to you, that like when you think of high school and you think about the Elon areas, or any like specific moment you're like, oh, that was my high school career?
Had some like heartbreaking tennis matches. I remember my sophomore, junior, and senior year, we were pretty highly ranked, and we were kind of one of the favorites to kind of make a deep run in like the state tournament. And at the time it was football, and then we were like the other team that had like a chance of like bringing home the title. And we had a few heartbreaking losses. One particular, Southern Nash, I remember, that we lost in an absolute nail biter. That and they ended up going to the finals, and so that could have easily been us, I think, my junior year. But that memory sticks out. Not necessarily, it was a good experience though. Definitely learned a lot from that match, and remember, a lot of spending time with those guys. It was so much fun. Chris Sparks, Jared Bryant, some other guys that were on that team. The Miller brothers. I don't know if you remember them. They were also there. Matthew Miller and
yeah.
And Mr. Byers' son was on the team. Brendan Byers. He was also a good dude. and then Coach Dowler.
I'm trying to, yeah, you're saying names and I'm like seeing their faces churn through it. It's, like I have the yearbook and I've looked through it like about a week ago just to get everything. But you're like saying, hearing these names and I'm like, I see them like walking through the hall, like kind of like shadowy. But yeah, it's funny hearing names that you haven't heard in like
Yeah, yeah.
15 years.
And so I did that. I was home earlier this year for during the holidays, and my wife was there, and I pulled out some of my old yearbooks. I was reading some of the comments some of my friends were writing on there, and they were so like inappropriate that would not be PC at all today.
No.
It's not at all acceptable.
There's I think it's a great thing that we didn't have social media to the extent because there are things that happen in school. I'm not going to get into them, but there are some things and stories that happened senior year that I don't think they would have been on some interesting,
Yeah.
virality.
I know. I'm imagining that if everyone had a camera on them recording what we were doing, it could not have ended well, and that lived on forever. So you could never let it go.
100%. I think of the one that would have done numbers, I think, at least locally. Do you remember the deer that broke into the school?
Yes, I do remember that. That deer, like I was standing in the library facing like I guess inside, and there's was a glass, right? There's parallel to 7. And the deer charged that glass. It was about to hit like it was trying to hit me. And I turned around and there was a thud and there was like blood and everything, and it just kind of kept going through the school.
Oh my Lord. I remember hearing it because I was sitting next to Kevin Gussler and he's like, there's a deer in the school. I was like, oh, really? And so we were trying to get like bathroom passes to go and see what happened. And I remember later on just passing a building and I believe his name is Mr. Neal. He was the janitorial. He was so mad. He was just, and I would be too. I mean, there was just blood all over a building. And I'm just imagining like, I can't remember what day it was. I'm just imagining like your work day is like, what the hell is this?
What is this? Yeah. Gonna clean up after all these messy kids. Now gonna deer blood.
Deer blood. The most Western Alamance thing is deer blood in the school.
So I try to like when I go out and I try and just tell people about my high school experience, I always share that story because that's
funny.
That's a very Western Alamance thing to happen.
It's also weird, I think, for when you tell people that we went to like an outdoor school. It was outdoor campus.
Across, especially here in Atlanta. I live in Metro Atlanta, so the thought of being across the street from a tobacco farm or whatever that was, it's like they're like, "Where'd you like the sticks?"
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was the sticks, and there you are confronting Mother Nature, literally in the front of the library.
Yeah. Did you go to Western Middle School?
I did not. I joined Western when I was a sophomore. Yeah. Because then I moved down from Ohio, spent my rest of my freshman year in like Chatham County. I can't remember the high school, and then went to Western and just finished 3 years there. So I don't know the Western Middle, but I know my brothers went, and it was just a sticks as.
We had a like cougar or bobcat or something come through campus one day when I went there for 1 year, 8th grade. I remember that day where it was like a lockdown because there was like a dangerous cat outside.
So you're the reason. You're the reason all the animals.
Yeah, exactly.
It's your last year, and animals will come and challenge you.
Little did I know.
Absolutely. Well, honestly, so if you bring your wife back into town, I just recently found this out via Kirby. If you can take her to Mayflower, the Blue Ribbon Diner, and they have all of our senior photos on the wall.
Yeah. I did know that. I saw that. I went there after my sister got married once.
Okay.
First time, or only marriage, but yeah, we went there, and I saw that picture. It's crazy to think about that.
It's I need to get them to sponsor the podcast just for the series. Like, hey, we're doing. I'll interview everyone on your wall. For you, does it feel like it's been fast of a 15 years, or is it more faster day to day when you think about it? Like it's just day to day is freaky fast, and it's just overall it has been a long 15 years.
It's been a very fast 15 years. It's hard to believe that that much time has passed. Stay pretty busy. Work is pretty hectic. And then
Hmm.
as soon as I'm done, I'm doing something active, either, walking, pickleball, gym, whatever. And that's, pretty much work, activity, dinner is my kind of my day to day. So it goes by
Yeah.
quick, but it's crazy to think that, 15 years ago, almost to the day, we were sitting in, that rinky dink cafeteria getting those specialty pizzas, like, and think we were so
Yep.
cool.
Yeah. If only
If only, if only.
if only I could get my hands on that flat pizza. I think I've always talked about if you planted that outside of like a bar late at night, those pizzas would be
Oh,
killer.
they would kill. It's a great business idea.
Yeah. I need to
Have you
find
been
out.
back? Have you been back to Western? Are you
No,
still
I mean,
living
the
in?
last time I was there, I think I went to a football game when my brother was there, and my brother's 23 now, so it's probably been 5, 6 years now. I've driven by it. It's expanding. They just keep adding buildings like it's The Sims, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's
I drive by it. I have an office. My office is in Reedsville, North Carolina, so I
okay.
pass it every time I go by. And I have noticed that they have been expanding, and they did something to the football field. I think they got a new clubhouse or something after we left, or
Oh
maybe
wow.
baseball. Right? Is that true?
I don't know. Like the last time I was there, I would believe it. I mean, it's big money. ABSS is growing, but last I heard, Western was no longer the flagship school. It's back to Williams. They restructured the whole county. Last I heard.
Oh,
So
I
yeah.
didn't even realize Western was the flagship school. So good for
Well,
them.
I put it down for who was making waves athletically, and I remember because and I know this because I used to coach Southern Alamance swim, and so they would like there was always the talk of like who was getting all the athletes, and just like how Northern Guilford was buying players,
Yeah.
buying families. I don't think Western was doing that, allegedly. I don't know anything, but that all shifted when they moved. They rezoned everybody, so then most of that population went to like Williams.
Didn't the principal get in trouble when we were there, Miss Spears, for doing something like that?
I think she did have like a little bit of pay to play or something
Yeah.
going on. Allegedly.
Legislate,
I'm not,
legislate. That's not. Don't want to get in trouble here. Well,
but
hope you're
yeah, I
doing
mean,
well.
we would. If Go
Shout
ahead.
out to Spears.
Yeah, shout out to Miss Spears. If we were on social media back then, it would have been everywhere. If we,
Yeah.
do you have any, to your 18-year-old self walking the halls? We haven't stepped foot in Elon yet for our graduation ceremony. What advice would you give your 18-year-old self? What you know
Just
now?
enjoy the moment. Don't worry too much about the future. Live in the present.
Hmm.
It would have been nice if I had a more memorable speech that we could chalk up today. So maybe add a few good one-liners. That would have been cool. But yeah, just
You didn't keep any of the notes or anything from that?
I should. I will tell. I don't know if I ever told you this, but when I was doing that speech, I had to do like a couple rehearsals, and I had a
Hmm.
bunch of like one-liners like sprinkled in there. And then obviously the teachers would read that, and they're like, "No, you can't say this," because they're all stupid,
Wow.
high school jokes. But I
Yeah.
shouldn't have like listened to them. I should have just like went up there and read it anyway. Because what were they going to do to me at that point, right?
Yeah. What they hold on to your piece of
Yeah,
paper an extra day? Like you still graduated.
you still got it. Yeah, make me come back for senior year one more time. Like
Yeah, we're going to delay your future.
you're going to delay your
Some
future for
jokes
one
you made.
year. Yeah, for some jokes you made. Yeah, no way that's happening.
Do you? Well, honestly, so because you were pretty good. I will say this because that's part of the reason why you were voted like president. You're a very good public speaker. Did you have like any like butterflies that day, like getting in front of everybody? I mean, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah. I don't remember particularly. I think I do a fair amount of speaking in front of large groups, especially on my company meetings and stuff. And
Hmm.
so it definitely is something that came naturally to me. So I never really got those like butterflies. As long as I knew what I was saying and didn't
Yeah.
feel like a complete doofus up there, I was fine doing it.
Okay. Yeah, I always wondered, like, especially because you have 18-year-olds up there speaking in front of like not just your 300 people class. You have an extra 2 to 3 people per that. So you're talking about like 1,000 people. And
Yeah.
I was embarrassed because, and no one's talking at me, but I'm sitting there. I can't remember who it was, but someone pulled my seat before the graduation. And again, this isn't like Tyler got bullied in high school, but it was just someone was pranking me. And I remember like, oh my God, there's people. And you guys are up there just like, calm and composed.
Yep. Did you get bullied in high school? I don't know.
No, I mean, I think I was bullied in, I always say this, I was bullied when I moved down here and I was in Chatham County. It's part of the reason why I don't remember that school. And it was weird because I rode the bus with like these poshy, like rich assholes. And they were like, oh, you guys live in a townhome. And we just moved here. I was like, what the fuck is your problem?
I live in a townhome now. Why are they knocking townhomes? Townhomes are great.
It's funny. I was just like, what is wrong with these? Because we were right near like Chapel Hill and everything. Because my dad still works for UNC, and I was just like, what the hell? What is this place? North Carolina sucks. And then we moved to Western, and it was just like my old high school was. And I was like, all right, we're back to normal.
Townhomes are acceptable, very acceptable in Western Alamance.
I don't understand. We moved to a normal house. It was just you weird kids on the bus. There's an ecosystem for you.
I guarantee you those kids don't have a podcast. So
that's true. Or they could just be working for Barstool Sports right now. And for all I know, they're
Dave Portnoy was actually one of those kids in here bullying you.
He was doing a pizza review, and I sat in the middle.
Yeah. His first pizza was the high school pizza. Little did we know.
But yeah.
Hilarious.
What about well, I won't get into bullies. Let's go into more of a positive. Do you have any like nostalgia? They tend to say millennials are some of the most nostalgic of the generations. Do you have any like ingrained nostalgia that you just like, you got to look up that YouTube video to get a quick hit of dopamine just because you need it?
No, but I will say I have a lot of my high school like t-shirts. So
nice.
I have my old cross country t-shirt and a bunch of just whatever shirts we would get from high school. So I have a bunch of Western Alamance gear, my old tennis hoodies. Still rock those from time to time.
Okay. Have you thought about turning them into like a blanket?
Ooh, that's actually a really good idea.
There's a company in North Carolina. I'm not sponsored or anything. I just know about them. Get the ads. They'll turn not like yet. All the not yet. They'll turn all those things into like a quilt. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty. Have you done that?
So my dad did because we have the t-shirt business, so we had like a extra quantity of like double XLs. I was like, all right, here's a quilt we can make out of it. But I have a couple people, they've family members have passed away. They turned their old t-shirts into like a quilt. So honestly, that might be the move. Cause I don't know if wearing your high school gear, well, if you're out of state, it kind of looks like a collegiate. So Dub A.
Yeah, Dub A. Maybe Washington. People think I played at University of Washington.
There you go. Washington. Yeah. Oh, he's got a warrior on there, a little spear.
Yeah. Oh God. So what else is going on with you? How's life in general? I know we've talked a lot about me.
For me, so kind of getting it. I started this back up because I have a need to do a creative outlet. I just love doing this. I did this for like 150 episodes, and then this idea has been eating at me for about 3 years. And so it's just an excuse that we're at 15 years. I was like, all right, this is a good way to like bridge it. For me, it's just, I have a lot of like creative juices. I took a sabbatical essentially from work because it was just burnout. I was just getting burned out in sales. So I was like, I need time to do that. So that's where I'm at. I'm in the middle of my little 6-month sabbatical away. I'm still working, but it's not as strenuous.
Good for you. Nothing wrong with a little time to do some D&D.
Absolutely. We'll see. One of my ideas is to interview, and I'm going to put it on the pod here just because I need pressure. But I was going to interview like 6 other Tyler Smileys. I've already like stalked them out just to kind of see if there's any qualities that transition with name or something like that.
I'm sure only good ones. Who else did you interview for this podcast series?
So this will be towards the end, so we're not going to be spoiling anything. I've got Heath, I've got Kirby McSherry, we've got Mary Meta, we've got Kaylee Kowalski, who is going to be next. We got Jenny Strickland, Zach Mack. So you are number 7.
Ooh,
aiming for 8.
Yeah. Kaylee lived in Atlanta for a while. Haven't seen her in several years, but I think like my senior year, she maybe graduated early. Can't remember exactly, but she lived in Atlanta for a while, and so we connected then. And I think I follow everyone on Instagram, but if they don't, send me a follow. We're Jangles.
Yeah.
Love to keep up with everybody. We should also maybe tie this up, just not to take over, but like maybe a group chat with everyone that you just listed.
Part of me wonders if I agree it'd be nice if we connected with everybody, like you guys were the cooler conversation 8, and then we like expanded from that. Part of me wonders if, kind of leading back because you're president, if because we have social media, there just isn't like this need to go see what everyone's up to, because we can like just check them out at a click of a
button.
Yeah. So I honestly wonder if that's a part of it. It's just people are like, all right, that person I didn't like is still not doing well, so I'm good.
Hopefully, well, no one definitely said that about you. I could confidently say that.
I hope so. It's, if you talk to my fiance, she'll tell me I'm either really likable or I'm an ass.
So. I remember you being very likable and very funny. I do remember that.
Perfect.
You were kind of a jokester. You always had some good jokes going on. You always kind of had some antic that you were trying to do.
You make it sound like I was like oh my god, like the little rascal. I was just
you were like Bart Simpson in class, Very
okay.
That's at least what I remember.
That's funny. So my memory doesn't do me well day to day. Did we have classes together? Because I remember there's a lot of events that we've seen each other at, but I don't remember class to class. I was also a dumb CP kid, so I didn't.
I don't remember any classes. Were you on that soccer team, the Mystical Warriors?
I was the ref for like 2 games.
Yeah, I remember you there. I remember that vividly. That was a lot of fun. You remember that?
I remember. So I remember we did a couple games, because it was the senior year. We had to discontinue it because there was a fight that first game, and then we got pushed out. We couldn't go to that league anymore, and then and then we just had to do scrimmages. But I also remember like Williams copied it. They did like Mr. So for those who don't know, could you describe the Mystical Warriors? I know we're kind of like speaking its tongues right now.
Yeah. The Mystical Warriors was this like rec soccer league that we all, a group of us from Western, joined, but we had like 0 rules, or maybe there were rules and we just chose not to follow them. So we would just go and goof off and like, kick the ball over the place and just run into each other, fight people. Yep. It was just, it was an interesting time. It was not for the intentions of playing a clean, fun soccer match.
It was like if you had the Savannah Bananas actually playing a legitimate baseball team.
Yeah, absolutely. The president of that is Jared Orton. Did you know him?
I've heard that he was attached. I didn't know he was the president of the team. That's hilarious.
Yeah, he's president of the Savannah Bananas.
So he was what, 2 years older than us?
Yeah,
2 classes above us.
Yeah, something like that. His wife Kelsey and I were neighbors in like elementary school in Graham.
Wow,
small world, right? Fun fact.
Yeah, it's there's another podcast series I want to work on. It's the 6 degrees of separation, and try and see how far I can get with each person, like who their person they know. It's always funny when you hear like all these people, especially from your small little area, that they're attached.
Yeah. Do you keep up? You were friends with Nikki Gandhi, weren't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was she dated Matt Foster back in the day, but we were all on the swim team together. We would all we all hung out. So one thing, my swim team, we were all as a swim team very close. So that was nice. And we all stayed relevantly close throughout the years. And then obviously time fades away. But
yeah.
what about, I know you said you only keep up with one person. What about, what was the copaesthetic nature of the tennis team like? Because it was only men one season, women other season,
Yeah,
right? It wasn't.
the girls were in the fall and the guys were in the spring.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really close. Jared, who was on the class above us, Jared Bryan, keep up with him pretty regularly.
Okay.
All the other guys, we were super close there, especially for those period of years. They were definitely my best friends, and so very, very. We'll come back on those times with very fond memories.
Yeah. So it's sometimes I think of it, I'm going through like these podcasts and just talking to everybody, and I'm like, God, man, these are good days. I didn't have anything to worry about. We didn't have like social media to worry about. Didn't have brain rot hitting me at every given time. I just posted a meme like a little bit ago. Everything hits us now. But I'll leave you with this one. Is there anything in the last 15 years since graduation, could include the day of, that's kind of shifted your entire trajectory until now?
Ooh, that's a very good question. I don't think so. I think, every step kind of led me to the next step. Since I'm in a family business, I kind of had kind of a path kind of carved out for me. And so I always knew what I would be doing. And so I was somewhat intentional about, studying and doing the right things that would help me progress in that path.
Okay. That's nice. It's nice that you had that. It's I think it's nice to have that framework. I've talked to a couple people, not in the podcast, but just in general, and they're like, they feel like they're still searching for that moment, which it might still happen, but it's nice to have that like guardrails almost in that regard.
Yeah. I generally love what I do. And I would wish that for anyone, and anyone listening trying to figure out what they want to do. I mean, if you love it, you'll never work a day in your life. And I'm very, very fortunate. Thank God every day that I'm in these shoes.
Absolutely. I will be honest. After this podcast, I'm gonna go check out that Bojangles AI though. I'm gonna,
Well,
I'm gonna question it.
yeah, take it to town. And glad that you have my word. If you bring us together, or if I bring us together as I should do, it will be sponsored by Bojangles. You heard it here.
All right,
first.
that's it. That's gonna be the clip.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, Rajiv, it has been a wonderful conversation. One thing I will let you know, because you do have a bunch of stores. Anything you want to plug?
Eat Bojangles. Go to Bojangles. Try our new chicken and waffle biscuit.
Ooh, okay. Might have to give that a try. Rajiv, I'll catch you later.
See you, buddy.
Guys, this was the Cooler Conversations podcast. If you are not so new, again, hit us with the reviews, like us on Facebook. This was a continuation of the WAHS series, class of 2010. Like always, catch you later.